Hello and welcome to 4Spokes. मेरा नाम है वैभव and I'll be bringing you stories and insights from the biking world straight from the bikers. Today we have Jayesh in the studio with us. Jayesh, a brief introduction about yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Jayesh Joshi. I am a 24-year-old artist and a biking enthusiast. I love off-roading and I'm into rallying and also a little bit of motocross.
So you do so many things, right?
Yeah.
You draw,
Yeah.
if I can say that.
I paint.
Paint.
Yeah.
You draw and paint.
Yeah.
You are a motorcyclist.
Uh-huh.
You are a music composer, singer.
Yeah.
So, मतलब इतना कुछ.
It's like...
And it's just 24.
It's not just 24 because I feel like I've lived too long. It feels like...
Too long, how long?
I don't know, man. Like, if you think about it, 24 years is quite a while on this planet. I don't know why. I just feel like how do people go on to live till 70, 80, 90? There's people that are 100 years old and I just don't get it. But I mean, coming back to what you asked, I feel like I'm very goal driven and I keep setting new boundaries. And it was art for a very long time. Like I've been drawing since I was 2 years old. So it's been something that's been very organic for me, being a creative person, having a creative outlet to, my impulses and emotions and all of that. But after a certain point, I realized that one medium of art is not capable of exploring or expressing all of the emotions.
Right.
And I love music. So I was like, why can't I make music? I mean, I can judge music. I can say this is good, this is bad. So, I mean, I want to try how does it feel to make music. And it took me quite a while to learn how to do it a little bit decently. I wouldn't say that I make good music now. People seem to enjoy it. But again, like the bar that I set for myself is pretty high. So it's going to take a few more years till I can actually, call myself a musician of sorts. About motorcycling and rallying, it's a new passion. And I mean, the thing is that when I tore my ACL on my right knee in 2016, before that I used to play football. I tore it while playing football. And so that was the physical activity that I would look forward to every evening. And once that got out of my life, I was like, man, what do I do? That's when I started making music, because I was like, I don't have anything to do in the evenings now and I'll just get depressed if I just sit at home and not do anything. So I started making music, started figuring out how to, set beats, like what are notes and melodies, compositions, all of that. But I sucked at that point. I was horrible. But then even with music, I was like, I need to do something that's physically engaging. And that's when I saw my father doing some off-roading and I was like, I want to do it. He's got a podium at the Raid and Sajoba and a few local events in Gurgaon itself. And he's 50 now. So I mean, he's like really killing it in terms of like off-roading. And I mean, I saw it and I was like, man, I want to do it. This seems fun, to win stuff. And so I mean, that was like the competitive nature of me. That was like, let's engage that.
So you're doing so many things. Like, how would you rate yourself in each of these things? I've seen your artworks, and they're really amazing. I've heard your music.
Thank you.
I have not seen you writing. I do follow your posts, but as an individual, how would you, like, if you want to rate yourself, how would you do that?
See, I mean, the best way to rate yourself would be proficiency in like all of the things that you're doing, and a healthy comparison between other people. But the thing is, I'm going off on a tangent and I'll come back to that. But the thing is that art has taught me that it's very unhealthy to compare yourself to others, because the three people that are sitting here right now, we have similar interest in things and we could be certain equals in a certain activity, but we can never compare because all of our histories and all of our inputs and all of the things that make us who we are today is very different. Absolutely. The only way you can actually truly compare yourself to somebody else is if they've lived a life that is exactly like you, dot by dot. And there's nobody like that. Nobody's lived the same exact life uh, ever. So I mean, proficiently speaking, I think art is something that's my strongest suits. I would guess I'd rate it like 7 or an 8 out of 10. Music is something still learning, so 5 or 6. And riding, I think, because of my size and the bike that I ride, and how people are like, it's really commendable that you're able to ride this bike this way. I would rate myself as a 6 or a 7,
So
something like
which
that.
bike do you ride?
I have a Royal Enfield Himalayan. I've modified it to quite an extent, made it a little bit lighter and more performance oriented than more touring oriented.
Okay, so we are much familiar with the idea of a motorcyclist who rides for a certain amount of kilometers, goes to places, explores, and so what kind of riding you said realist, right?
Yeah, I mean, rallying is definitely a big part of like what comprises of my motorcycling. But I like touring also. It's just that touring comprises of a lot of highway riding.
Right.
That is just something that I don't enjoy, because a highway, when you're off-roading every weekend, and then somebody's like, hey, let's go here, there's 600 kilometers of highway and there's nothing changing. It's just a straight road at a pace that you're not able to go beyond, because one, it's dangerous, and two, your bike is not able to go after a certain point. So yeah, I mean, I do enjoy touring quite a bit, but off-roading, I mean, if I can adventure tour, if I can explore trails, and that too fast, pushing it when you're going really fast, going over the rocks, like smashing like the puddles of mud and water and everything there is, to reach a place where you just can park your bike and take off your helmet and be like, wow, I'm away from all of the pollution, all of the sound. There's no like, horrible hotels here with unclean blankets. I can just be whoever I want to be here. So yeah, I mean, I really enjoy that. For cyclists, a trail doesn't end anywhere. They can just pick up their bike, walk, put their bike back down, and then start cycling. For some motorcyclists, a trail stops at 5-6 kilometers. For us, it's a little bit longer, and we've explored quite a few new ways. But if anybody is interested in riding trails, you can hit me up. Like you can
Right.
message me and stuff. And if somebody with little to no experience comes to join the trails, as like, hey, I want to, I would never be like, don't come. The trail itself tells you what your capability is. You can be like, man, I'm going to, pin the throttle, I'm going to go at 80 or whatever, and the trail will just cross its arm and laugh at you. Like, man, take it slow. You'll fall once, you'll fall twice, and then you'd figure out that this is something that you shouldn't do or should do. But I always tell people that always come geared up. Don't be too nervous when you're coming. You'll see other riders, you'll see us, you'll see my father, who'll be going really fast. Don't try to keep up, because it takes really long. It's taken me 1.5, 2 years almost to be this fast, and I'm still not as fast as some of the other riders in my group. And yeah, I mean, if you have a heavier bike, that's obviously a challenge, because you're wrestling the bike to quite an extent. And same with my bike. I feel like I'm wrestling it sometimes, because the suspension compression rate is too rapid. Like it bottoms out very fast. So yeah, I mean, know your bike, know your limits, and then do everything in your limit. Do everything at your pace, because it's not a race. It's not like you're going to get a prize after this. Just do it. It's fine.
So who are these other bikers in your group?
Oh, I would love to give a shout out. One is my father. He's like the major teacher behind whatever I've learned and gained in terms of off-roading. In a very little time that he's been off-roading, he's gotten gotten a lot of podiums. He's claimed a lot of prizes, and that's great. A lot of respect from other riders too. Another person that I really respect is Amardev sir. He's our rider. He's in our group, and he's been riding rallies since they started. Like, I think the first rally that started in India was the Sajoba rally. That was in 85, I think. I don't think he took part in that, but he's been rallying since 1990, if I'm not wrong. And we call him the encyclopedia, because he knows everything about every rally that has happened. He knows I had this bike had that problem in this rally, my chest number was this in this rally. He remembers everything. And other guys like Karan, Ashish, Sanket, all of these guys are, people that I started riding with. And we all started from like at a certain point, and we've grown immensely as like, off-road enthusiasts.
So these practices that you do, if I can call that, weekends, are you preparing for something big?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I do want to do rallies. I have a certain goal that I want to, do at least 2 rallies on my Himalayan before I look at a change. Because a Himalayan is a very good like adventure tourer. The bike, it's made for that. We misuse it. Like, I mean, our use is like we kill the bike. My suspension has, uh, you know, sagged and like completely. My monoshock has completely been ruined almost twice, and it's been changed. Like my swing arm has been changed. Like, I mean, my front forks like came out to their the holders, whatever you call them. I'm sorry about the hub. So yeah, my goal is to do rallies and then do good. It's not like I want to be like the fastest Indian. Like, I don't want to be the next say Santosh or whatever, because it's just that I am beyond a certain age where I can do that. Just have the experience.
Can you name a rally or a two that you want to go to?
I really want to do raid the Himalaya this year, but I don't know. There hasn't been any news about it so
not
far.
yet, yeah.
The Sajoba rally is quite nice. The organization of the Sajoba rally is amazing. Next year, I'm planning on doing INRC. INRC calls itself a rally, but I don't personally think it's too much of a rally as it is like a short sprint. Like, a certain number of short sprints, one after the other. So I do feel like my motocross experience of like short circuits and like instant bursts of energy will prove beneficial in that. And I mean, it's a year after, so I think I was watching a video of me riding a year ago, and it's horrible. Like, I mean, my 3 fingers on the clutch, and like just so scared. Like, my hands are stiff. And I mean, I watch myself now, and I'm like gliding.
And if
and,
people
like,
want to watch all this, where can they watch this?
that video is private on my YouTube because I'm shirtless in it for quite a while. And when I uploaded it, I thought it was funny, but then as the time has gone by, it's become cringy. But you can watch like my other stuff on Jayman's here on YouTube, and yeah, I'd like to post like narrative based videos which are a little bit more than hello guys, आज हम स्पीति जा रहे हैं. I mean, that's cool if it works for you, but I just want it to be more artistic, so I try to keep it that way.
Right. So what is your take on the motorcycling scene in India?
I only know about the off-roading Indian scene.
Right.
I don't know about like the
But
guys.
then you do meet people, right? Riders who
Yeah,
traveled
yeah.
to Ladakh a dozen times.
Well, Ladakh is, I don't know, but I mean, I would call it a cakewalk now. Man, I mean, like I did Spiti like last year, and we did Spiti pretty fast. My father and I, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, my father and I, we did Spiti, and we did it pretty fast. We did all the off-roading stages that are often part of the raid pretty fast on like loaded bikes. Like my bike was loaded, he had just one bag, and we were ripping through Spiti. Don't go to Spiti. I'm not saying you should go to Spiti. Don't go there. It's difficult. Don't go there. I just don't want people to overcrowd it. But yeah, man. Like, I mean, the biking community is quite mixed. It's like any other community. There's people that you like. There's people that you associate with, and then there's people that you would not like, even without knowing them.
But don't you think people are transfixed on the number of kilometers you've done? How heavy a motorcycle you ride in a group or not? Does these matter, like when you are in the scene and you are on a motorcycle every weekend?
Man, a KTM SX 125 will leave behind a 400cc Himalayan. A Himalayan with like imported suspensions, adjustable, and a very skilled rider. And a KTM SX 125 with the decently skilled rider will leave somebody behind. It's all about like the kind of riding you do, the kind of rider you are. But what you're saying is, I agree, because a lot of Indian motorcycling's background is touring oriented. People used to treat motorcycle. People still treat motorcycling as a chutti banane wala activity. Like, oh, me and my wife, we are going to Ladakh on a bike. And then you post 1,000 pictures on Facebook. People are like, wow, good guts. It's amazing. And those are the people that do not know too much about the motorcycling community. That being said, it's really good to see so many people get into this because the Indian parent in itself is also developing. Like, people were earlier very wary of motorcycles. Don't go. You'll die. You'll crash. But you could crash in a car. You could crash in a plane. You could crash anywhere. I mean, if you have to go, you have to go. But why not go wearing a cool helmet and doing some sick stunts?
Nice way to put it.
So yeah, I mean, like I have a lot of confidence in like the Indian motorcycling, and brands are rising, and people are knowing more. The internet is connecting all of us, and yeah, the vloggers. Some of the vloggers do tell you about like really good things. Like Junaid would take you to places in his vlogs. I don't think you should show all of these places because I just feel like people will go there and then like litter. Please don't litter, guys. Always pick up your shit.
Be responsible.
Yeah, be responsible.
Can we see you in this particular segment?
Yeah.
You ever vlogging?
Okay, one thing I would love to vlog, but it's just that we opened this podcast with the amount of things that I do. So I barely have time to, do anything apart from like things that are in my schedule.
Right.
I mean, we had to push this a week because my calendar was completely full.
Correct.
And I mean, I don't put anything above my work. If there's work, then I would cancel everything. I would cancel meeting my girlfriend if there's work. Because, I don't know, man, like when you want things to work out, they work out. And, I take out time and she takes out time. We know where to set the boundaries. I'm not crazy about work. I love working, but I wouldn't be replying to a mail at like 8 o'clock on a Saturday. I respect work. I respect myself as a professional. You should too. So I mean, I am able to set those boundaries really well, and knowing and understanding that your work is important, but it's not above your mental health, your physical health, all of that is very, very important. And I think about vlogging.
Motor vlogging actually.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, when we ride, like our riding, it's not very motor vloggable because motor vlogging requires you to stop, talk, or ride and talk. In my riding, I'm just like, oh, don't fall. That's going to be my motor vlog. I don't want to do that, which is why I can record footage and then edit it, make it look the way I want people to look at it, and put it out there and make like more travel oriented videos instead of motor vlogs. Because I have done vlogs which were like of my life, my day to day. Like it's called something like extremely average vlogs or something like that. And it was just me living my life because I have a very like boring life. I don't go out.
So, since you do so many things, so how do you manage things around?
Luckily, I've been able to juggle things really well, and people seem to admire that about me because. But the thing is that it comes at a cost. I mean, like it comes at the the cost of like having a social life, and it's good for me that I don't feel the need for like having a social life. I don't feel the need to get out of my house and engage with new people. I feel like I already know too many people. Like, why do I need to meet you if we can text? I don't, and yeah, I just feel like it's very archaic almost that that you're like still meeting, and there's technology everywhere. I just don't see the need. I mean, I'm not motivated enough to like.
So at 24, where there are lot of things that distract a person, an individual, how have you come up with these protocols?
Okay, so this is going to be a little bit serious, but it's fine. Like, I mean, in my life, I've seen like a lot of like hardship, and it was my parents' divorce when they were young, the death of my relatives due to like alcohol and like drug abuse and all of that. So that obviously had a very strong impact on me, and all of that happened when I was like significantly young and like not this person, not 24 years old. I was younger then, and I'm I think by distractions you mean like all of these like
Things,
things that things people do to take the edge off or like pass their time.
Absolutely.
I feel like my father's one example, my mother's one example. My mother, after my parents got divorced, my mother wasn't a very she's not extremely qualified, and she learned and like she put herself through like a teaching course, and then she became a teacher. She's done 10 years of teaching now.
Why?
Yeah. And my father, he comes from a significantly financially weak background, and he went to the army all by himself. He joined companies, and then he rose in the companies, and then he was all India VP of a certain company, and now he started his own business. I mean, both sides, I mean, regardless of their own differences, there's a lot to learn from both of my parents. And from my mother is like sheer perseverance and like doing things because you have to do those things, and my father is like being strong and like following your passion. And then all of those deaths and the things that I've seen, they kind of put me off to the idea of like drugs and like alcohol. I don't drink alcohol, I don't smoke up or any of that. My only vices used to be like smoking cigarettes, and I've quit that also. So I mean, I try to live a healthy life. I try to I try to stay off drama, which is why I think I don't meet a lot of people. Because when you meet more people, people tell you more. I don't know why people like telling me things. There's somebody that met me on the road a police officer. I was getting my chain adjusted with the mechanic close to my house. A police officer came there, and he started talking to me about like his wife and the problems that he's having. Why? I don't know. I have a non-aggressive face or whatever. People just feel comfortable, and I can listen to people. Like right now, I'm doing the talking, but if it was you guys on my podcast, I would probably just ask you questions and shut up. I'm a good listener, and I don't know. I think I've grown significantly between the ages of like 17 to 24. I never got to have like a very whoa, let's go party, let's do Gedia type scene. I was always very focused on doing this because I live with my mother and my sister, and my goal is to give as much support as I can to my mother to help run this house, and eventually my sister will do that too, and all of us will become like this titans, like these titans of like running things independently.
You've known that you want to do some rallies, and what are the other on the other arts front? Like you compose music, so you do look for a future in that as well.
Not really. I mean, I don't want to be a musician
Okay,
because
but if people want to listen to your tracks, where they can listen to you?
Okay, you can listen to my okay, I mean I you can listen to my music on soundcloud.com/PETERDSZA, or you can search for Peter Dsouza, and that's the moniker, that's the alter ego that I go with as a musician.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, it's decent. Don't expect like high quality stuff. I record out of my house.
It's like really decent. I've heard it, so I know it.
I record out of my house with like entry level equipment, so it's like very क्या बोलते हैं, crafty and tailor made. Not tailor made. It's like very मतलब cut and paste के मतलब हाँ चलो ये कर लेते हैं वो कर लेते हैं. And I'm teaching myself how to sing, so yeah, it's taking a while, but it's happening. It's more of like a relaxation for me, because since art has become more of a profession, sometimes you do so much of it in a day that you don't feel like you can relax doing it now. So you do need something else to do, and I try to dabble with music then.
And how many instruments can you play?
I can see, I'm not great with like instruments. I can play the guitar, I can play the drums a little bit. But I mean, I'm not good with drums. I just have a good handle on beat, so I can get into the rhythm of it. Like,
what kind of music do you do?
So I come from a very hip hop background. I've been listening to rap since like 2006 when it first came to India. You know, when the hype came to India. But I've shifted to more like lo-fi soul, like neo jazz, sort of like music with like Peter D'Souza, because I felt like we were talking before we started recording, the rap scene in India is like very it's growing rapidly, and it's very committed right now, and I feel like people that are rapping because they want to be perceived as rappers. I mean, you know, people are rapping because they want to be like musicians that are known for their stuff. I don't feel like I want to be in that category because those guys are much more talented than I am, you know, and they have seen their fair share of hardships that they talk about, and they have invested a lot of time and money into this like music making. So I'm happy sticking in my lane. Also, it's like kind of makes me look all hipster and stuff, where everybody's doing like rap and I'm doing something else. But yeah, so hip hop gave me a very good background on like what a groove is, what a beat is, what, you know, lyricism can be like, what can be perceived in what way, how can you talk about things. And as I branched out to different sorts of genres, I keep taking things from them, you know, like I like this, I like that. And yeah, I mean, it gives you quite a hectic sort of a view of like what can music be. It's not a limited definition ki ha matlab art can be this, music can be that. It could be anything. There's a genre called noise music. Is just, it's just noise. There's no organization. Like things that make sound music is organization. If you hear a bird chirping every 2 seconds, it becomes music. But if it's chirping like randomly, it's just a sound. So yeah, I mean, noise is just sound, but it does classify as music. And to understand that there is no boundary to a certain art form, I only got to know it after I stepped out of like, you know, my comfort zone of like rap music.
So, who do you listen to?
These days,
Internationally and nationally.
yeah. So these days I've been listening to Rich Brian's new album. He's grown quite a bit, and then there is, I listen to Joji quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, I like some songs of Jaden Smith's new album. Uh, JID is really good. Dominic Fike, Baby No Money. Then nationally, oh man, nationally, I mean, our guys are like really killing it on like a very large scale. There's Amer. He's a Kashmiri rapper. He's out with this new album, Little Kid Big Dreams. He's really good. Then there's Seedhe Maut. They're going on a tour. I did the artwork for them. Check it out. Seedhe Maut is there. Prabdeep is there. Prabdeep is like this amazing Punjabi rapper. Seedhe Maut is this bilingual duo. They've started rapping both in Hindi now, but earlier one of them would rap in English, and then the other one would rap in Hindi. There's Siri. She's a rapper from Bangalore, Kannada. She raps. I don't understand a lot of Kannada. I know some of it, but she's also very, very talented. And TNS is very good. Basically, any artist that is, you know, doing things with Azadi Records is very, very talented. Anybody out of like the Mumbai group, like The Evil. I never know how to pronounce his name. Then yeah, there's, I mean, once you start listening to one artist, the technology, the music, the library will start suggesting all of these musicians to you. And I feel like Seedhe Maut, Prabdeep, Amer, Siri, TNS, all of these guys are very good starting points from like, you know, good like uh, Indian hip hop.
And the idea of alter ego,
Yeah.
right? So, how does that come up?
Man, okay. Peter D'Souza was a name that my father used to call me when he was in the army. So he left the army in '97. He served for 5 years. He did a short term. He opted for the short term because my sister was born in '97, and he decided to, you know, be with us then. So he used to call me Lieutenant Peter D'Souza as a kid. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from, but I just liked it because I mean when I started Peter D'Souza, I wanted it to be more honest, because when I was rapping, I was rapping about like fantasy stuff, like, showing off and like having sex with all of the women that I've never met, all of that stuff, like, and things that aren't real, bragging and like, talking about things that I don't have. But I knew that I was doing that, and I was being funny with it. But with Peter D'Souza, I wanted it to be like more honest, and I think you're at your most honest as a kid because you don't know how to lie yet. And all of us have learned how to lie in such a way that we can cover up our emotions and then convey to people what we want them to understand. Then how they perceive it is there on their end. But we can tell them, yeah, I'm fine, nothing happened. But then you could have been crying like half an hour ago, like bawling in the washroom. So yeah, man, like, I mean, Peter D'Souza, I wanted to be like more honest, more like pure, innocent. So that's how it came to be.
So you've come out with one album of assets?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if I want to call it an album. It's a collection of tracks that it's called Peter D'Souza Sucks Season 1.
Right.
And yeah, Season 2 will be coming out maybe early next year, something like that. I'm working on it. I'm really trying for it to be better, because a couple of magazines did, cover my. Couple of online magazines did cover my. Thank you. Did cover my album, but they had to say that, like, some of the musical arrangements are really nice, but Peter can definitely work on his like vocals, can definitely work on more of his production skills. Like anybody, there's always scope for improvement.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, I mean, if I got 2 magazine articles, let's aim for 4 next time, and let's be better. I mean, I've gotten a lot of people listening to it, people enjoy it. You do.
Absolutely.
And I'm hoping that the next album that people listen to, are like, whoa, this is really different. This is very technically good. He sounds like he's got a good hold on his voice. So yeah, all of that is.
So wish you the best for the future.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so now we learned about his music, his motorcycling. Now tell us something about your work. Like the work that is most important to you and to everybody else. So what work do you do?
So I am primarily an illustrator. Like I do any illustration. Like I do illustrations for anybody that wants illustrations. And I try to. People earlier approached me for my style of work. They were like, we want this to be your style. And that is an achievement in itself, that people want you to do things for them in your style. But I want to push the boundaries now. I want to explore more styles. I want to do more work for more challenging clients. I've dealt with like horrible clients in the past, people that haven't paid me, ripped me off big time, and people that wouldn't appreciate, people that are rude. I've worked with like some great people that appreciate my boundaries, people that respect me as an artist, respect my process, that don't hurry me. But last year and this year has been really great for me. I've been working for some really good clients, and I think I'm getting into the stride of like being a professional artist, because I think I've also reached a certain age where it's not cute anymore to not have a job, to not have a strong professional backing. It's very important to, be known as somebody that is worth the time and the money that the clients are giving you. My clients I don't do small projects. I don't do projects like 5,000-7,000. I try to do like projects that can see me off for a month or 2 at one stretch, because I feel like that commitment by the client requires a lot of faith in you and in your skills. And I mean, earlier I would be devastated when I would lose a project this big, but now I understand why I wouldn't get a project when I was that young, because I barely had anything. My portfolio was like it was nothing. My portfolio was only things that I made for myself, but now I have a certain backing in terms of like what my work is worth, and with the following that I've amassed, that helps to a certain extent. And yeah, man, I just want to keep like doing good shit for like good clients, and now I can finally say no to people, and that's a good feeling to have it, because it gives you a lot of faith in yourself, and you can say no, I don't want to work for you right now. This is not worth my time or my energy or my efforts.
So yeah. That sounds great. So if people want to follow you for different, like if somebody wants to follow you for illustrations, where they should follow you or check your work out?
So I post most of my work in a more casual sense, where you can see like just the work is on my Instagram. You can check out my Instagram at Jayman's here. That is JaymanShere. A lot of people say Jayman Shere, so I try to make it as clear as I can that I'm not a Sher the Putter. I'm just like Jayman's here on Instagram. And if you want to see the riding that I do, you can find it on my Jayman's Here page. I'll link that page to my profile, but it's Jayman Rides 18. And yeah, if you want to learn more about my work, if you want to see a more like uh, in-depth process behind different projects that I've done, then you can check out my Behance. Same name, Jayman's Here, everywhere. Like you can just search for Jayman's Here on Google and you'll find everything that I'm on. So yeah.
So how much time do you usually take to complete a project?
There's things that I've done like 2 days. There's things that are taken like months to complete, like half a year almost to complete. So there's no like कि इतना ही time लगेगा process में. So usually it's like I talk to the client. People I've noticed that often when I meet the client, that project doesn't go through. I mean, because it's like once you meet somebody, and I'm a person that is a strong-willed, strong-headed person, and people often do not want to work with those service providers that are sort of strong-headed. They want to be the bosses. I don't want people to perceive that you are the boss of me, because you are just a boss of a private company. You're not like a DGP or somebody that is giving me work. You're a boss of your company. You made yourself the boss, or somebody made you the boss. I'm the boss of my company. So I command the same respect as you do, because I'm running this organization, you're running yours. So once that is established, once a personal relationship is established and I feel right about it, I get into the project. And usually it starts, get my advance, you get my terms and conditions, you agree with those, then it's fine. If you don't, then I'm not doing it. Then it usually starts with like a mood board. Creators make a mood board, which is like a collage of like images and like media that resonates with what you're trying to do. Then when I start with a rough sketch, keep sending them stuff, and then work on their feedback. It's a very back and forth. If the communication is weak, then it wouldn't work out. And I've seen like people like the guy that I was the example that I was talking about the boss and the respect and all of that. That was my experience with one client, and he thought that he was a boss in a company that he made. You could be anybody in the company that you've made yourself, right? And I think if I'm wrong, please don't get mad at me. The thing is that he wouldn't talk to me directly. He would give his feedback to the assistant, and then that assistant would give it to me. So it's like a game of Chinese whispers. There's some feedback would be lost in that translation and the communication, and then the work would go incomplete because it's not reflected on all of the feedback that he had. And then that project fell flat. I didn't get paid for it, and I was just like, and then I realized that the importance of a work contract, the importance of terms and conditions, all of those things, which is why it's very important to be professional in like any field, especially in art. Like I see a lot of people being very casual with it, not having invoices, not having a very well documented and a very well organized way of working, because they feel like, oh, it's art. But it's like it's not art that you're creating for yourself. You can create things for yourself however you want. You can put milk in your Maggie for all I care. But if you're making Maggie for like 10 other people, then it has to be in a more systematic way. It has to be something that they would like, because you're creating it for them. So think of yourself as a service provider. Think of yourself as somebody that has their own respect and boundaries, and ask your clients to respect that. A client called me at 11 o'clock on a Friday. I'm like, dude, this is not a time to call me. Like, no, it's urgent. I'm like, I don't care. I'm sleeping. There's nothing more urgent than that. In my terms and conditions, it states that I only work from this time to this time. You can't call me after that. I'm going to switch off my phone if you call me again. And that's it. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And it was about like some files that they said that I hadn't given them, and I'd given them everything on the first go. I'm like, check your stuff. If I told you I sent it to you, I sent it to you, and that's what I mean. Like everything should be organized and systematic from your own way, because there's people like that. People that would just see it for the face value and be like, oh, it's not the correct file. Open it, check it out, you'll see everything is there.
Alright, so what keeps you motivated to do what you do? And don't you ever feel exhausted and feel like taking a vacation like other people do?
You take a lot from the company that you're around. You know, people, it's very weird how unoriginal human beings are. Like, just the people that we surround ourselves with, we take traits from them, and then we mirror those things, and then we collage a personality together. You know, we इसकी दाढ़ी अच्छी लग रही है, मैं ऐसे कर लेता हूँ, इसके कपड़े अच्छे लगते हैं, मैं ऐसे पहन लेता हूँ, इसका सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर ऐसा लग रहा है, मैं ये ले लेता हूँ. And then you make up a personality, and that's fine. You know, we are a very social being, and we do that, and we mirror a lot of times. We mirror to look bigger, we mirror to look smaller. We take a lot from people to be perceived as how we want to be perceived. But for me, work is something that is almost meditative, man. Like, I mean, I like working. I have been exhausted. Like, I mean, I do. Like last year, I had a very long patch where I was like depressed for a very long time. I wasn't able to work properly. I wasn't able to get like any sleep, and it was like my relationship with my girlfriend that time was in a bad place. She wasn't my girlfriend then, and it was in a bad place. It was awkward. I don't know. Things were just not working out for some reason, and that happens sometimes. Sometimes you're just like, you know, on like a low, but it might be unhealthy, but I kept working through it. Like, I mean, almost overworking through it, tiring myself out, because otherwise I'm just left alone with my thoughts. What do I do with those? I mean, I'm just there thinking. I don't want to, like, dude, it's so difficult for me to sleep because my mind doesn't stop. Like, my mind is like always it's going like that. Even in my sleep, I'm talking to myself as like 4 different people. It's insane. Like, it's like if you were to sit inside my head, you'd be tired in like an hour. You know, and I live with it. It's my head. I live with it every day. And when I sleep, it's very difficult for me to say. I could be tired as hell, but then I wouldn't be able to sleep. So yeah, working is almost like a way of like shutting it up, like, you know, because you're doing things like physically, your sensory organs are like focused on something. Same with writing. Like, my brain is, because I'm focused on this. I'm focused on like not falling. I'm focused on, oh, the line is there. Follow that line. There's mud there. There's a thorny bush there. Keep you know, be aware of that. I was riding when we were going to Spiti. We had been on a highway for like almost 1 hour, and this car zoomed past me, and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't know. I could have seen it in the rearview mirror if I was like active, but वही होता है, मतलब your mind takes over very quickly. As उसे जैसे ही मौका मिलता है, it's like it jumps in, like, hey, let me distract you for a second. So I just don't want to be distracted. I like working, I enjoy it, but then I've understood that like Saturday, Sunday is for me.
That is good to hear. Also, how important do you feel numbers are for an artist that is on social media?
Man, like when I started, like obviously on like social media, and I've been putting up my work on, I had a Facebook page. I do have a Facebook page, I still maintain it, but I've had it. That was the first social media outlet for my work, for my art. I started it in 2011. I was in class 11 then, and it was just people from my school that were like, you know, that liked it. They shared it with their friends. So I was like a little bit known as an artist in Gurgaon. But as I grew and I went to college, and I went to college to Srishti, Bangalore, which is an art and design college. When I went there, I saw a lot of people that aren't on social media, that don't care so much about like what their following is like. it wasn't like कि, wow, yeah, matlab, that's amazing, because it's stupid to not be on social media at this day and age, because it's a it's a it's a branch of work, a branch of like opportunities that you can get on
Yeah.
that you're not there. I mean, you're missing out on so many things just because people are not seeing you. You could be like, oh, it ruins our mental peace or whatever. That's your reason, but I'm just saying that you're missing out on a lot of work. I've gotten a lot of work because of like my work being out there. So yeah, earlier it was there कि यार 500 likes चाहिए Facebook page पे, 1000 followers चाहिए, ये सब. But then as I kept growing as an artist, I've gotten around 10,000 followers on Instagram now, and there's definitely people with like much larger followings than me. But I don't create art for my followers. Like, I'm not making anything that is there to like please the public. I'm doing things because it's things that I want to do. Art was always that. It like when I was a kid, art helped me talk to people because I would draw. They would see me drawing, then they would come talk to me. So I wouldn't have to make the first like, "Hi, I'm Jayesh" or whatever. They would see it and then they would talk. They would be impressed. So it was like that. So impressing people was very much a part of it ever since I've been drawing. But it slowly stopped being about that because I grew and I realized art is more than that. And yeah, man, like I mean, when I when I got 5,000 or whatever, I stopped caring about followers because I was like, ठीक है, मतलब it like I thought I would feel amazing when I would get 5,000 followers, but it felt normal. Like I got 5,000.
मैं तो अपना काम कर रहा हूँ तो
नहीं, I mean, like I saw 4,997, 4,998 refresh, right? 5,000. Nothing happened. Like I thought, wow, I was gonna feel like my heart is gonna explode. That dopamine rush is so like we chase it as like we're like we want more of it. I think writing is like that for me now.
It has for
Yeah,
you,
for me.
right?
For me, writing is like that because I mean I can look forward to dopamine rush every weekend. It's different every time.
That's
But like
one way of seeing
social media numbers, it gets toxic very quick because then you
Super
might
quick.
start like wanting to impress people, and I don't feel the need to do that because I'm confident in myself कि जिसको देखना होगा वो देख लेगा. If people unfollow me also, I feel okay. I mean, who are you? I'm doing this, I'm making like art and I'm making like, you might be somebody important, but I don't care. I mean, because for me, I'm important. And I'm not going to lose my hair and like lose my fucking mind about like, oh, 5
One
people
follower,
unfollowed
shit.
me. And people follow and follow me every day. Like, I lose 10 followers a day, gain like 20, 30 a day. So it doesn't matter. Because because then people become numbers and I don't want to be a number. I don't want people to be a number. People are people. Let them be people.
And apart from the followers, Instagram hasn't been very kind to you these days, no? Because of the artwork you upload and then they take it down.
Yeah. I mean, I dabble a lot with like nudity and in my personal project that I'm working on right now is called the Sext series, and it's about like, the like sexting but like it having like a romantic and emotional undertone to it. Like you could sext anybody, but then I feel like bearing yourself is a very vulnerable position to be in for anybody. Like even if you're doing it for a casual meetup or whatever, I do feel like there's a sense of vulnerability there. Obviously there is, because you cover yourself up every day and then you decide to take off your clothes and decide to get rid of your inhibitions for this one person for like a certain amount of time. So it's about that. So when I first posted the artwork, Instagram took it down. Then I posted it again, censoring it. They took it down again. Then I posted it again with like Instagram logos on the nipples, and then they let it be. But I'm okay with that because I understand the fact that Instagram has to censor itself. A lot of artists disagree with that because they're like, no, it's art. Instagram should allow you to be there. But the thing is, Instagram is not an art portal. Like there's 7-year-olds on that app, that post like 7-year-old shit like, hey, chilling with my dad, playing football with my friends. There's people with like different political ideologies, different morals, all of that. So I mean, it's a sphere for everyone. And when you live in a society, you have to adhere to a certain code of conduct. You can't expect to be uh, the truest form of yourself. Ideally you should be. That would be a great society to live in, where you could be who you want to be and not who society wants you to be. But it's just a space where it's very easy for people to, you know, be people to cast their opinion, for people to change their opinions because of social media, because of how much importance that it has. So I understand that I'm not going to be mad about Instagram taking off my handle, because they're doing their job and I'm using their portal, so I have to be respectful of their terms and conditions and their rules of conduct. So I get that. I'm not mad at Instagram ever. Like, I mean, I was at one point where I was like this edgy artist, like, no, this is wrong. Instagram should. But then I understood. I mean, I got it. Why? Because if I am if I'm browsing Instagram and I see something that I completely disagree with, Instagram shouldn't be like, oh, you disagree with it, so we're going to take off this post. That person has a right. That person is in the complete freedom to post what they want to post, till the time it follows the rules that the app that you're posting on is okay with. If you want to post like bare bodies, you can post on Reddit. I don't. Tumblr doesn't accept like X-rated stuff anymore. But yeah, it's just the way that you have to. You want to make a portal for like artists to post whatever they want, however they want. Make one. Like, I mean, there is Behance, there's DeviantArt, all of these websites with like, you know, with
Only
artists
and
on it.
everything, yeah.
But then also you're supposed to tag this project as immature, because there's young artists on it too. People that don't want to see that. There's asexual people, they don't want to see that. You have to respect that. So that's why I don't care about the followers, because it's like, I'm doing it. You don't agree with it, you can unfollow it. You don't have to report it.
Right, that's the problem. No?
Yeah.
That's the problem. That was why the very first time they took down, you were so pissed for the idea that if you don't like it, just don't see it.
I don't know about that, because the thing is that Instagram doesn't tell you if they took off your work.
That's the problem with Instagram.
Yeah,
no?
because that piece that I was doing was very realistic. So it's very easy for Instagram's automation or the algorithm to perceive it as like a real person's nude body. So I get that. I've painted things that are in the nude that show nipples. Okay, it's not an issue, but the app is able to make out that it's a painting. This new series is very realistic looking, so I guess that's why the automation did it. Because I don't think I have that big a following that people are going to report it. People that follow me know that this is what I do. It's not taking them by surprise. It's not like, oh, ye kya? I didn't know he was going to do this. People know that this is my work, and they know enough to, you know, be wary of like, okay, this is going to come anytime.
Mm-hmm. Right. Also, wanted to ask you that how well do you see yourself doing in motorcycling, especially rallying, in the coming 5 years? Where do you see yourself?
5 years from now, I expect to be like much faster. I expect to be much confident on the bike. I'm plenty strong, so that's not an issue. But I want to get like a lighter bike, so that I can be both of those things, like I said, like faster and confident. On a heavier bike, you feel like, oh, you might fall, you can't do those things, you can't do a certain thing. But I mean, I would love to, you know, just wheelie away from a obstacle. That is one. Then like more rallies, participate in like nationals, and INRC is the only national championship I think there is, like off-roading. Participate in more rallies, meet more people, understand more mechanical stuff about the bike, because I'm super stupid about it. Like, I don't know anything about like the technical aspects of it. And yeah, man, just like be faster, more confident, and less injuries. I mean, I've been getting like less injured lately. I mean, because I have gotten good at it, so I don't fall as much as I used to. But yeah, it'll be great to not fall at all, not damage your bike. Apart from that, the motorcycling community, I think, is growing immensely. There's brands that are coming out with like really targeted good stuff, and I feel like the only complaint that I have is from like the companies that make motorcycles. India is still stuck in the circle of making one bike for everyone. There's very little performance oriented machines. I don't think there's any. Now that I think about it, I mean, KTM RC390 is one bike that I can think of at the top of my head that is performance oriented, but then that is also modified to a certain extent where it can be used by a regular Tom, Dick, and Harry, to go to the office and look cool. So yeah, I mean, I would love to see a more like performance oriented motorcycling community come out of India. More people that know more about like performance based stuff, like particular stuff. Touring to chalti rahegi. Everybody can tour. Everybody should tour. Everybody should go and see beautiful places. But yeah, I'm happy with the brands, the stuff that they're doing, and I just really hope that the import duty comes down, man. I mean, like importing helmets and stuff from abroad gets very, very expensive.
Well, I hope so that it comes down. Also, this is my last question to you. So, what do you think about like 4Spokes as a podcast platform for bikers?
I think it's really cool, man, because I mean, like, I enjoy podcasts quite a bit, and I do enjoy video podcasts because there's like a visual element to it. You can see like the gestures that I'm doing, like right now, waving my hands, but then you can't wake up because this is audio. But I mean, I think that's a natural step up for you guys, and you're very accommodating, and it feels nice to talk to people that are open to talk to you about things, and yeah, I don't know, it's cool.
That's it for today. I hope you liked what you listened. For more such conversations, please subscribe to 4Spokes, and also don't forget to follow 4Spokes on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Till next time, this is me Vaibhav signing off. You take care.